You're watching Joy News today with me, Francisca Aidoo, and apologies for the hiccup there. The Coalition for the Defense of Equal Citizenship Codex this morning embarked on a protest march against the need for a new voters register. The group says there's the need for the existing register to be replaced, hence the march to drum home their demand. They rather suggest an audit of the existing register. Ali Dawood is Director of Operations of Codex.
We do believe that we do not need a new voters register, as consensus reached by the forum held at the College of Physicians and Surgeons on 26th of August. We invited representatives of all the political parties. Of course, MPP, for some good reasons, they were not able to show up. By the end of that forum, the consensus was very clear that Ghana does not need a new voters register. What Ghana needs is to maintain the credibility of the existing biometric voters register. And that is why it has become necessary for Codex to organize a peaceful march to bring the information to the doorstep of the ordinary Ghanaian and let them know the discussions as pertains to the call for a new voter register.
But you would agree with me that quite a number of people are saying that the voters register is flawed, and therefore there is the need for us to, even if not have a new one, be audited.
But Codex says that if you have a problem with the voters register, as has been the case every 4 years when we change our voters register, there are methodologies that we employ to make sure it is clean, or as you said, audited. But the call for a new voter register only taking us a century back. We are now going to collate new names and then come and detect who have registered twice and then clean them. Now we can save ourselves some time, resources and energy by just going there and audit. Indeed, if you do find those people who have registered in multiple ways or multiple times. So the argument that because there are some problems with it, of course there will be problems. It's something managed by a human institution. There could always be problematic. But the idea that you need therefore to call for a new voter register is clearly tangential and untenable.
Well, we're still talking about protests, and Evangelists this morning embarked on a one-man demonstration in protest of child baptism and other things he describes as anomalies within the Christendom. His aim is to present a petition to the Christian Council of Ghana to get these anomalies rectified. Joy News' Michaela Anderson was with the Takoradi-based evangelist David Yankee for his one-man demonstration.
I'm here with David Yankee, an evangelist from Takoradi, and he's here in Accra to embark on a peaceful march to talk about what he describes as abnormality within the Christendom. He'll be presenting a petition to the Christian Council later on, but we are here to speak to him as to why he's doing this.
Let me start with infant baptism. Here we are, there are so many churches around us baptizing children. A child who can't see, can't hear, they will bring him or her at the pulpit and sprinkle water on him or her and claim that that person has been baptized. You cannot find such things in the Bible. Christ himself told us that we should go out there and preach. Those who will believe, we should baptize them in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. So a child who can, listen, how can he or she make decision that he or she have done something wrong? And for that matter, there's need for repentance. So if someone is doing that, the person is lazy. Instead of the person going out there to preach to the masses for them to repent from their sin, he just sitting there, armchair preacher, sitting there when someone give birth, and then he will ask them to bring him or her for him to be baptized, of which is wrong on the face of the Bible.
Which people are doing this?
Oh, we have so many. Roman Catholic is doing it, Methodist is doing it, Presbyterian is doing it, Anglican is doing it. So many churches, and some of them are part of the Christian Council. Have
you contacted the various churches you are accusing of practicing this anomaly?
Maybe after today, some of them will be attest the fact that indeed, I personally have informed them. In fact, the last time I was at Asake, there's a retired Presbyterian pastor. I had this discussion with him. What he told me was, I'm not trying to tell him that all those who are practicing this are wrong as far as the Bible is concerned. I am going to present 30 questions to them. I'm having a very nice script here, 30 questions for them to answer, and I've stated in there that their answer will be made public for the people to know, I mean, that they are leading people astray. In fact, I have charged them that they themselves are not Christians, so they have no business.
Why are you accusing them of not being Christian?
Yeah, Christ said, if you love me, obey my command. You cannot proclaim to be Christian and do anything that you like.
Away from that, the General Secretary of the new Patriotic Party, Kwabena Ejapon, was on Tuesday afternoon heckled by party private security as he left a steering committee meeting. Mr. Ejapon went into the meeting to inform the executives of a suit against the suspension of embattled Chairman Paul Afoko. Felix Akoyam has details.
Mr. Ejapon went into that meeting with one aim. He just went there to indicate to the other executives that he had been served with the injunction filed by, the 3 persons from Kumasi, and so that meeting could not go ahead. And that did not go down well with some of the executives at that meeting, and indeed, I'm sure the invisible forces who heckled him when he was on his way out.
So the invisible forces, by the way, are the party's security
force. And I mean, talking to some sources within the party, they indicated that Mr. Ejapon said he received the suit last night. And one thing for them that remains curious is the fact that 30 people, have been cited in this suit, and so it's interesting for them that it is only Mr. Ejapon who's been able to receive this suit from bailiffs, because I mean, there's ex-President Kufuor in there, there's Freddie Blay, and 29 other members of the MPP who've been cited in this suit challenging the suspension of Mr. Paul Afoko. So for many of them, they suspect some foul play there, and indeed,
okay, they find it curious that Mr. Ejapon is the one delivering the message, because I mean, all the others have not received this suit we are talking about, and he is the only one who's been able to receive the suit so explain
far.
To us how it happened. He went into the meeting.
He went into the meeting
to deliver the message.
To deliver the message and asked them that they allow him to recuse himself, because he's spoken with his lawyers who've advised him not to take part of the meeting because he's received the suit from the petitioners. So I mean, he told them that indeed he cannot be part of that meeting, and so as he was walking out of the meeting, in his car, these invisible forces, guys started heckling him, and he even had a real.
What exactly were they saying?
Most of them were raining insults on him. Some of them saying that they don't know why he's the only one who's been able to, get this suit, and why is he trying to, prevent, the meeting from coming off. Some even saying that they don't want to see him at the party headquarters again.
Following yesterday's event, General Secretary of the NPP, Kwabena Ejapon, is said to have lodged an official complaint with the police. We're joined on the telephone by Davis Opoku, who is the aide to Mr. Kwabena Ejapon. Good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us. Now, what exactly is the report that has been lodged to the police?
Well, I think that is, as a law-abiding, anytime you are engaged in some of these stuff, I mean, when you are attacked, your car is attacked, you are engaged in an accident, your first point of call, you need to report to the police, and that is what Kwabena Ejapon has done. I mean, these are vehicles that are insured, and for insurance companies to, as it were, repair your car for you and all of that, I mean, you would have to show some police reports that indicates that indeed the incident happened, and it will be based on that.
Very well. Beyond seeking that remedy, is he also looking to get the perpetrators brought to book?
He's not really bothered about that. I mean, for him, he believes that these are time events for our party, and as General Secretary of the party, he has a responsibility to make sure that the party is united. So that is what Kwabena Ejapon is focused on. It's not necessarily that the police should arrest people. No, that wouldn't.
Very well. Did he suffer any injuries from what happened?
He did not. He did not.
Okay, now let me get your thoughts on this. What do you make of comments by the Deputy General Secretary of your party seeking to expunge people he describes as moles from NPP? This is a story we're going to come to in a bit, but we want to get your thoughts on that.
That
That Mr. Obri Boahen is alleging that there are moles within the NPP, and that they're going to get rid of them?
Well, Mr. Bibari should be bold enough to mention names. I think it's important we need such persons from our party if indeed they exist.
Now,
I mean, at this point, engaging in speculations wouldn't help anybody. We need to be men enough to mention names. That I think that Mr. A or Madam B or Mr. C is a mole in the NPP, and for that matter, these are reasons, these are evidences that seeks to suggest that they are working with other interests aside that of the NPP. I mean, when he says that, then the party can investigate, and if such people will have to be weeded out of the party, they would be weeded out. But engaging in speculation at this point, I mean, would not help anybody. We all need to be men enough. We need to protect the NPP's constitution. We need to be mindful of the fact that we have values and principles that have held this party together. I mean, just being on radio or being on TV and venting your anger and saying things you have no knowledge of would not help anybody.
Looking at the dramatic events that have occurred within the NPP and claims of Mr. Afoko and Mr. Kwabena Agyapong not working for the party, could Nanobi Boahen be referring to Mr. Agyapong and Mr. Afoko?
I would want to wait till I hear from him. I mean, first of all, if somebody says that Kwabena Agyapong and Mr. Afoko are not working for the party, are they not working according to the dictates of what is in our constitution? We have a party constitution, and that's supreme. I mean, Mr. Afoko and Kwabena Agyapong are not in as leaders of our party to hero worship anybody. They are there to work according to the dictates of the constitution of our party and our collective interest in making sure we win elections in 2016.
Okay.
That is very supreme.
Okay.
I mean, we have lost two elections. If we continue to do the same things we did in the 2008 and 2012 elections, then certainly we should not be expecting different results.
Very well.
So as General Secretary, as National Chairman of the party, they have a huge responsibility to make sure that things are done differently, and we should expect different results come 2016 at the polls.
Okay.
If people will not allow them to work with the Constitution, work to the Constitution, and make sure we achieve that.
We'll leave it here.
People are those working against the interests of the party.
Very well. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much. That's Davis Opoko. He speaks for the MPP General Secretary Kwabena Agyapong. You're watching Joy News today with me, Francisca Aidoo. So we'll take a break. More stories coming up. Please stay. Hello again, you're watching Joy News today with me, Francisca Aidoo. Now, members of the Ghana Medical Association will from January 2016 begin to enjoy their conditions of service. This is because the final document detailing their terms of engagement with government has been concluded and signed. Now, the signing of the documents, which was concluded days ago, is expected to properly spell out both financial and non-financial components of their engagements, as well as improve service delivery.
The Ghana Medical Association had earlier threatened to declare themselves out of job over government's delay in furnishing them with conditions of service. The GMA renewed its threat to embark on an industrial action if its members did not have negotiated and signed conditions of service by the end of June 2015. At the end of its third National Executive Council meeting in Cape Coast, the group said it would hold the government to its promise to ensure that its members working with the Ministry of Health through the Ghana Health Service and the teaching hospitals were provided with conditions of service. Currently, doctors do not enjoy conditions of service. A communique issued by the GMA at the end of the meeting said it drew the government's attention to the absence of conditions of service for its members in November 2014, and the deadline of June 30, 2015 was set. It also said the government accepted its responsibility to meet the demand. The renewal of the threat on March 30, according to the GMA, was due to the entrenched position taken by government. The communique signed by President of the Association, Dr. Kwabena Opoku-Edusei, and the General Secretary, Dr. Frank Sribo, said the neck of the GMA affirmed the GMA stands by its June 30, 2015. A roadmap was outlined after the extraordinary Emergency General Assembly meeting held in Accra on June 29, 2015. It outlined measures that the association would undertake between then and the June 30 deadline to get the public adequately informed about developments. The first week involved the withdrawal of OPD services, followed by the withdrawal of emergency services to resignation en masse. Part of their demands included 40% of basic salaries as accommodation per allowance month, 20% as core duty facilitation allowance, 30% clothing allowance, 20% maintenance allowance, 20% utility allowance, 50% as professional allowance, and 25% special risk allowance and vehicle tax exemption to doctors. Their demands generated public outcry and even forced the President, John Mahama, to make a public pronouncement that he was not going to authorize payments for an unbudgeted amount of money to be paid doctors or any other public sector worker. He instructed the doctors to call off the strike and return to the negotiating table, something the doctors refused to do. After several pleas from the public, the doctors decided to return to the negotiation table. The Employment and Labor Relations Minister, Atani Delali, assured the doctors that a codified conditions of service will be ready by September. It's been a year, months and weeks of agitation within the health sector. After several meetings and back and forth, it appears government and the Ghana Medical Association have reached a consensus. A codified conditions of service has finally been signed. Both parties for now have refused to make any comment on what is contained in the signed document. Implementation of the conditions of service will take effect from January 2016.
Good news for doctors there. Now, a staff of the Judicial Service has filed a suit at the Accra High Court seeking an injunction on the work of the committee probing allegations of bribery against him, unless his lawyers are allowed to cross-examine Anas Arimiao and Nas unmasked. Now, Gabriel Achana is also asking the court to set aside a ruling of the Chief Justice's Disciplinary Committee investigating the issue that insisted Anas can be cross-examined in bail based on the Whistleblowers Act. Stephen Anti has more.
Mr. Achana and his lawyers are making specific legal reliefs, and they're citing the disciplinary committee meeting of October 21st. Now, on that day, Anas and his two decoys, Anas has two decoys, Mr. Yankee and Mr. Esking, appeared for cross-examination. The statement says that they look like extraterrestrial because of beads that they're wearing, thick beads that they've used to veil themselves. So, and then they've also worn extension of hoods which covered their ears. Now, the plaintiffs' counsel are actually raising a preliminary legal objection to the appearance of these decoys, three, because it disabled, they claim that it disabled their client from recognizing and identifying whoever recorded him. They feel that it is fair for whoever recorded him, because the person who recorded him did not wear a hood or veil to record him, which they say that is fair for them to see this person, so they will have the chance to verify that indeed he is the one who recorded, and perhaps use that to confirm the authenticity of the video before cross-examination. So they are making these case this very clear. Now, on that day, their objection was overruled by the committee, which said that they could go ahead with the cross-examination in that state. Now, what they want now is that the decision to go to court is, the decision to let them continue in the cross-examination when these decoys and Anas themselves are veiled is not fair. So they want. They said that
so now you're speaking
fundamental.
of the relief they are seeking.
No. This is just a background that I've given you. That on the 21st of October, when the committee sat, these decoys, including Anas himself, went there veiled. I mean, covered in beads and hoods. Now they are saying that they want this taken off, so that they can verify who indeed did the recording and use that as a basis to authenticate that recording. But the committee overruled that objection and allowed.
That was at the last sitting.
Yes, and allowed the cross-examination to continue whilst these three were veiled. So now the reason why they are filing this writ is simple: that they feel that they are demanding the fundamental human rights of their clients, and they think it's an error to allow the cross-examination to go on.
Some members of parliament have started moving into the new Job 600 office complex. Construction of the building started under the nation's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, but was stalled for several decades until the Mills administration decided to take it up again for use as office accommodation for lawmakers. Elton John Brobe visited the new facility.
We are now within the premises of Job 600, which is to serve as office complex for members of parliament. I'm sure you are aware this building was started in 1965, was going to serve as conference grounds for an AU meeting by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Now, after so many postponements, finally members of parliament will have access to their offices. And today we are privileged to be within the premises. The deputy ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee, Justice Joe Appiah.
All members of parliament should get good offices. As lawmakers, we have to get good offices to do good business for the country. Enacting laws means concentration. Get an office, well equipped, so that you can get communication. You can get access to quality information, so that you can be able to address with the facts to, enacting good laws for the country. As a member of parliament, I'm very happy. The place is a very neat place, and really it gives a lot of sense that MPs will no more do business in their car boots. So I share this office with my colleague Amakun Atta. He's also an MP for Tiwa. So we have this office for both of us, one for my secretary, the other one for his secretary, and this is the common office for visitors.
What is left is the staffing of the offices. I know that the MPs will have one secretary and one research assistant. So ministers and their deputies will have to share offices, while members of parliament will have an office to themselves. The structural engineers have certified it, and then they have very competent international architects working on it with a very, again, renowned construction firm working on it. So as to the integrity of the building in terms of structure, I don't think that there is any doubt whatsoever that it's of sound integrity. We are hoping, in terms of the auditorium, in terms of the documentation center, yes, members of the press can access those and use. In fact, we are trying to ensure that the press corps has access to some of the facilities in the new building.
There's information in town that the top floor, which will house the leadership of parliament, is quite luxury. I mean, there's talk of even a bedroom, a washroom and all that. Is that really the case?
I don't know about bedroom. I don't know about bedroom, but I know it's a bigger office than you're occupying now. And the idea is that, if you take a walk through the leaders, any of the, whether it's Honorable Osei Chairman's or Honorable Bagman's office at the moment, you would find that there are a lot of people there doing all sorts of things.
Now, Parliament has adjourned today's sitting after just 30 minutes into this morning's session due to the absence of key members of the House. Majority Leader Alban Bagman, who moved for the adjournment, blamed it on circumstances beyond his control. We're joined on the telephone by parliamentary correspondent Elton John Brobe. Elton, good afternoon to you. Tell us what happened.
Well, the House started sitting at 10 minutes past 11. And after the procedural issues were resolved and it got to the business of the day, the majority leader told the speaker that he was unable to bring forth the ministers and the chairman or some of the committees who were scheduled to move some advertised motions for the consideration of the House. The reason being that they were not available, or they've been trying to get them, couldn't get them. And for that reason, he prayed the speaker to adjourn the House whenever the leadership get in touch with these people, whenever they come. As at the time he was moving the application, the House were in readiness to listen to a motion for adoption of the report of the Finance Committee on the 2013 reconciliation report on the petroleum holding fund. There was also another by the Human Rights Administrative Justice and an audited report into petroleum fund. Unfortunately, the majority leader could not bring forth these individuals who moved these motions. We were told that because of the upcoming NDC parliamentary primary scheduled for the 7th of September, some of the committee chairmen who were scheduled to appear before the House of the motion were already in their constituencies campaigning, and they couldn't get them to come to appear before the House to move the motions. For that reason, business of the House would not be continued, but that was the only advertised motions for the consideration of the House. And the Speaker was left with no option than to adjourn the House. But before doing so, he asked that he meet with the leadership of the House to resolve this issue so that going forward, this issue does not reoccur.
Okay, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much. That's parliamentary correspondent Elton John Brobe. You're watching Joy News today with me, Francisca Aidoo. Let's take another break. More stories coming up. Standard Chartered Bank and Airtel Ghana have introduced a straight-to-bank wallet product in Ghana. The service will enable customers of both companies make payments directly to their accounts using the electronic payment platform of Airtel Ghana.
The straight-to-bank wallet product services an electronic banking product of Standard Chartered Bank to be driven by the superior technology platform of Airtel Telecommunications. The partnership will enable customers of both companies make payments directly into their accounts.
Our partnership today with Standard Chartered straight-to-bank is to allow Standard Chartered the ability to use our Airtel Money platform to allow their corporate clients to make payments to the wide range of customers that they have out there. As I mentioned earlier, one of the key things that we wanted to do with Airtel Money when Airtel launched it many years ago was to play a part in pushing a cashless or cash-light economy. And I think with this partnership, that's one of the things we're going to be able to do. So we're going to be able to let all of the corporates out there who have customers spread across the country to be able to get paid simply by having an Airtel phone.
The head of corporate affairs West Africa of Standard Chartered Bank, Neo Kainunu, explains the service significantly lowers the risk and cost of handling cash.
We from our end, we are looking at customers who can use our straight-to-bank platform, and most of them are corporate entities. It could be big or small, and they would, from there, use the Airtel Money platform wallet for people who benefit from their transactions. So it's from us to a larger client. So that's why I use the Ministry of Education. If you have the Ministry of Education, for example, and they pay teachers all over the country. So we deal with the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education on the same platform to the, this product would then disperse payments across to, should I say, their staff across the locations. So the people who are going to use that cuts across. There may be people we don't have a direct link with, but because they have a link with our customers, they benefit.
The Association of Ghana Industries has emphasized the need to educate businesses in the country to enter into partnerships and joint ventures. Chief Executive of AGI, Seth Chuma-Kabwa, asserts partnerships add value and also will be helpful to businesses in the country and also outside.
We see the private sector as a very important aspect of our development, and as was presented right from the onset, and the chairman even indicated that if you look at the independence of Ghana, the fight, those behind the fight for independence, the whole fight was funded by the private sector. So private sector has always been very key in our development process. The question is, have we grown the way we expected? We had lots of private sector businesses that one would expect that today they would have become big multinationals with branches all over Africa, branches all over the world. Are we experiencing that? I think the answer is no, because we have not grown the way we should. Is it because we have not taken advantage of the opportunities that have been open to us? Is it because we have not managed our businesses properly? We think that individual companies sometimes have very small capital and therefore cannot do the kind of business that would enable them to enjoy economies of scale. So partnerships and joint ventures are very important. That is not happening very well in the private sector. So that's one issue that we have to look at.
Over 100 micro and small enterprises in the northern Bono Ahafo and central regions are to benefit from the National Kaizen project. The project, offered by the National Board for Small-Scale Industries and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, will strengthen the capacities of these businesses and boost their productivity.
Kaizen technique developed by the Japanese is for quality and productivity improvement in businesses.
Kaizen is a worldwide applied method to improve productivity of the factory and the company. Like Toyota and Nissan or Honda or Sony or Panasonic, or from the certain long time ago introduced this special method, and then can strengthen the competitiveness and then export a lot of things to all the world. Even this country that we can see, the Toyota, which is based on the Kaizen method used in this project.
The first phase of the Kaizen project was piloted in the Ashanti region between April 2012 and March 2015. It successfully assisted about 36 micro and small enterprises in the region and 11 head trainers, leading to its expansion to 3 other regions in the country.
Looking at targeting about 100 and 120 businesses in the first phase of the National Expansion Program. The National Expansion Program will be carried out in 3 phases. Each phase would cover 3 regions. This first phase of the National Expansion exercise would cover Northern Region, Bono Ahafo Region, and the Central Region. And throughout these regions, we are targeting 2 main categories of beneficiaries. The first one being the staff of the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, who man our district offices that is called the Business Advisory Centers, and also the second target, who are the main beneficiaries, are the small businesses. And we are targeting not less than 120 small businesses in these 3 regions to directly benefit from this particular program. However, because our officers are going to be part of the training programs, they are intended also to transfer the skill and the knowledge to other businesses who may not directly benefit from this phase of the expansion exercise.
The Kaizen project is targeted at growth-oriented rural and MSMEs in agro-processing and other manufacturing enterprises.
Well, that's it for business. Sports is up in a bit with Baba Tando.
I am Baba Tando. Let's talk sports right here, right now. And Ghana's homegrown Black Stars left Accra this morning for Ivorian capital Abidjan, where they take on les Éléphants Locaux de la Côte d'Ivoire in a second and final leg qualification match for a place in next year's CHAN tournament in Rwanda. A total of 18 players and 8 technical team members left via the Kotoka International Airport, where they were met by Joy Sports just before emplaning. Abeku Innocent is a member of the playing body, and he is brimming with confidence ahead of Friday's crucial game.
I think it's going to be a very difficult game, but hey, who knows? We can go and with a surprise over there. So our mentality for now is qualifying Ghana to Rwanda next year.
How have you seen your preparation so far?
It has not been bad, you know, with the good technical men on board. They've been doing their possible best to go out there and win coming Friday. So far so good. Preparation has been very successful. Actually, they came here and played a defensive formation, but they got 1 goal out of it. We know physically they are very strong, but for us, the tactics and the techniques is what we used to beat them the last game. So our coaches have taught us a lot. So we are going to capitalize it on them coming Friday. There's no pressure because they needed all the maximum point, 3 points. So they are under pressure, so they are going to open up so that we capitalize on their formation.
Premier League side Wafa safest pair of hands Felix Annan is one of 2 goalkeepers who travelled with the local Black Stars. He believes, after seeing the style of play of the Ivorians, Friday's second leg encounter should be an easy assignment.
We want to make Mother Ghana proud, so we're going there to give our best and then to lift the flag of Ghana very high. They play home now, so they have the home advantage. But firstly, in the first leg, we didn't know how they play. But we played them the first game, so right now we know how they play. So even though it's going to be difficult, but we know how they play now. So it's going to be a quite easy game for us. We are going to fight, and then we try, and then we get a responsible victory that is going to give us the qualification to Rwanda.
Now, all of these players that you've seen play in the Ghana Premier League, and talking about that one, outgoing Premier League Board Chairman Welbeck Abrapia has rated his performance over 10 years above average. Abrapia announced at the end of the 2014-2015 Premier League season that he was laying down his tools to focus on God's ministry. He believes all achievements of the PLB within the last decade have come with the help of the Ghana Football Association and should be giving a 70% pass mark.
I will say that I didn't work alone. I worked with Kwasi Nyantakyi closely. I'm being honest with you. We were together. Kwasi is 10 years, I'm 10 years on the throne. Okay. You understand what I mean? Yes. And I can tell you that for that reason, whatever we achieved over this period, it's not by Abrapia or the PLB alone, but with Kwasi Nyantakyi's support. I will give ourselves above average. Above average. Yes, above average. And the above average will be about 70%. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Let's talk tennis now, and Ghana has failed to qualify for the Euro-African Zone 2 in the Davis Cup following a 3-0 defeat to Algeria on Tuesday. Now, the Black Rockets needed a win against the North Africans to remain alive in the competition, having lost their opening pool match to Namibia. Ghana's team, comprising of George Darko, Wisdom Na Adrago, Jafet Awansiba Bagabase, Pascal Ziab Alome, and Captain Joseph Akwa, fell in 3 straight sets to Algeria to bow out of the competition. The Golden Rockets, however, have a game left to play against Tunisia before heading home to Ghana. And they hope to have secured progress into the Euro-African Zone 2 following their gold-winning feat at the 2015 All-Africa Games. But poor planning, as usual, seems to have cost the highly talented side with a last-minute confirmation of their participation in the Davis Cup just before leaving for the competition.
News today. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you very much for your company. I'm Francisca Aidoo. Bye-bye.